and I'm gonna make this quick because it is 34 degrees in Melbourne when I'm filming today, and I've been putting this off because the last few days have also been above 30 degrees, so really hot. We're in the middle of summer, and I'm definitely doing this knit flip series for those of you in the Northern Hemisphere, so I hope that you enjoy it. In this video, I'll show you how I flipped this pretty boring old cheap top that I got from a thrift store into one of these like off the shoulder style tops, which are pretty trendy at the moment. But as I always say, thrifting and altering your own clothes is the best way to sort of try out some cool, like cool trendy styles that are in at the moment without the environmental and social price tag. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I'll talk you through it, and let's get started. This is the top that I bought from Savers Superstore. It's a size M from the shop Tempt. I don't know if they have them anywhere else in the world, but Tempt is a very fast fashion chain store. The clothes are very, very cheap. I would say you could get this top probably for $10 full priced, which is really horrible for the environment. Anyway, as you can see here, there was also this hole at the back, sort of under the armpit or the back of the arm, but I really liked this ribbing detail. I think it adds a little bit of nice detail. Wow, I'm full of great words today. To this top. It is a viscose polyester nylon blend, which again is really nasty. I really hate fabric blends. They do not perform well, and they are also not great for the environment. So you can see here it's pilling because the fabric is just not good quality. That is what you can expect from a fast fashion brand. This is how it fits when I put it on, so it's quite a tight fit. I am quite a true Australian size 6, but this was tagged a size medium, and it is actually very tight on me. So it fits me well, and it will suit this project that I had in mind really well. These are the inspiration pics that I used. I just found them on Pinterest or through stores that I knew did a really similar style, and used that as a template to sort of figure out how I was going to go about this project. The main thing is that placket down the center, which makes this a Henley style top. I don't know why it's called a Henley top, but that's just the feature. And then it's been modernized by this off the shoulder detail. I find it really helpful to draw a really quick trade sketch. This is what you use to sort of help guide how you're going to do the design, how you're going to alter the garment that you have, to take note of any of the key details. So like I said, the main detail for this top is that middle placket and how you're going to attach those buttons. Also how you're going to finish that off the shoulder detail, seeing as once you cut it, you're going to have a raw edge. So just brainstorming your way through that and figuring out all the things that are necessary. Luckily for you guys, I try to help you with this part, so as long as you follow sort of my instructions throughout this video, hopefully this will make sense. Even if you have no background in sewing, maybe this will start to make a bit more sense and you can take on this project yourself. Since we are all dealing with different garments, it's a good idea to make sure that you refer to your own garments. So here I am trying to sort of figure out where I want my design lines to go. I'm going to use pins to sort of mark where I would like to cut, and also where I'm going to place that placket, how far down I would like it to be. So note down all these things on a piece of paper, and it will make it a fair bit easier as you go along. Once you are happy with where your design lines are, you can start cutting. I'm going to cut around the neckline because I basically want to get rid of that entire old neckline so that I can put a new one in. A word of warning, always try and cut a little bit less than you intended and try things on, because you cannot add fabric back, but you can always trim off a little bit more. So always cut a little bit less, and then you can adapt from there. I'm just double checking that that length of placket will suit the top, and I'm also going to trim off some of the little bits that weren't quite sitting right when I tried it on. At this point I realized that I could actually use that ribbing fabric around the neckline to use as fabric for my placket. Otherwise I would have to try and find a matching fabric or something like that. So I decided to try and upcycle this. It was a little bit fiddly, and as you can see it's a little bit curly, but once I give it a press it will sit nice and flat, and I was pretty happy with how I made it work in the end. I remember trying to learn how to sew button plackets back in fashion school, and it takes a little while to wrap your head around it. So I basically whipped out this top that I already had to sort of check how to do a placket. There are also many different ways you can do it, so simply Google how to do a button placket if you're interested. There are heaps of different ways that might be more simple. Before you cut anything, I would recommend that you have a pretty good understanding of how to sew this placket on. I will do my best to explain, but of course in person is the best way to practice. That line down the middle is where I'm eventually going to cut, and the dotted line around it is where we need to sew the extra fabric in order to get the placket. So I'm going to take one piece of that extra fabric I have and sew down that left side, which I've labeled number 1, and I'm going to sew past the point where I'm going to cut. This is very important. You need to sew past it so that later on you can cut into the corner and sew across that bottom bit. Next, I'm going to get another piece of extra fabric and sew down that right side, which I've labeled number 2. And again, you're going to sew past the point where you're going to cut, and you want to finish sewing at a point that is equal with number 1, which is the first line that you sewed. Once you've sewed those 2 lines, then you can carefully cut down the middle of them on that solid line, and make sure that you stop where that solid line stops so that you can do a tiny little snip into the corner of lines 1 and 2. That way it will give you a little bit of fabric as seam allowance that you can use to sew that 3rd line down the bottom, which will join all the pieces of your placket together. So remember not to cut anything first. First, we want to measure the length of our placket and cut some pieces. I would recommend leaving some extra room. You could also use chalk and draw this little diagram onto your garment so that you remember at which point to stop sewing and to not cut anything until you're happy with those 2 lines that you sewed first. Okay, so you want to find the middle of the front of your garment because that's where you want your placket to sit. I broke all the rules of what I just told you. Do not do what I just did and cut that because it will make your life a lot harder. Like I said, use a piece of chalk, and instead of cutting it, just mark your line with chalk and then follow my instructions with pinning these pieces down and sewing them in place before you cut anything. So here I'm pinning down line 1, and now we're ready to sew down that line. Just use a straight stitch, even if it's a knit fabric, because at this point we do not need the fabric to stretch out, so you don't need to use a zigzag. Just use a straight stitch and sew all the way down line 1. When you are happy with line 1, do the same thing for line 2, using another piece of fabric to sew straight down with line 2, and it should be the same length as line 1. When you've sewn lines 1 and 2, it should start to look like this, except that you should not have cut down the middle yet. When you're happy with your 2 lines, then you can slowly cut down the middle of them and make sure you stop before you get to the end. Stop before you get to the end so that you can check that everything is nicely aligned, and then when you're happy with that, then you can make a tiny little snip from the bottom of your cut into each corner, and then you should have a little triangle of fabric that will allow you to sew straight across, and then you will join both pieces of your placket with the top. So then you should actually have 3 layers of fabric to finish off your placket. Because I did the cutting before I did the sewing, mine turned out really messy, and I would definitely want to have another go at this and make it much more neat. But look, I made it happen, and this is how the bottom of your placket should look when you're finished. To keep everything nice and neat, I then overlocked around each of those seams. That's so that things don't come undone. You can use a zigzag stitch if you don't have a serger or an overlocker. Okay, now it's time to finish the neckline. Now, the first time around, I basically folded the neckline over about 1 centimeter. So 1 centimeter seam allowance, pinning it in place and ironing it as I went. And then when I went to zigzag it, it actually turned out so horribly. I think because the zigzag settings weren't really right, and it stretched out my top and made it look really horrible. So look, I think this is actually not a bad way to finish it if you can get the settings on your machine to sit nicely. But I just couldn't do that. So what I did was I unpicked the entire thing, the entire neckline, and then I got a piece of elastic and I used that as a kind of hack. I saw it on with Wendy's channel, so that was really helpful. I used this piece of elastic to sort of reinforce the neckline.
I used an overlocker to do this, but you can just use a zigzag stitch as well, and then you fold it over and top stitch that down so that the elastic is hidden, and it really came up nicely when I did it that way, so that was a really good hack and I was pleased with how that neckline was finished. Once the neckline is done, it's time to figure out how to attach these buttons. Now, these are all the ones that I dug up. I had them from previous projects, leftover, this and that, and so I only had limited ones remaining. I basically chose the most simple one because that was the style that I wanted for the top, so that meant that I didn't have any to test out. I would highly recommend having some extra ones that you can give a test because in the end, this actually stuffed up my whole top and meant that the buttons are just for show and they're not functional at all for my top. So hopefully yours turns out a lot better and that you can do a few test runs to make sure that you attach these properly. Just follow the instructions on the packet that you buy, depending on the type of button that you buy as well. Because I stuffed up those buttons, I actually decided to just sew them down so that the top still looks nice and finished. It's just that you can't undo the buttons. So when I bought the top, it had this hole in it, and that was a really easy fix. There was actually just seam allowance there that I could turn inside out, and I hand sewed it up. You can use a machine as well. I guess it depends if your top has a hole too. But holes are generally pretty easy fixes. You can either stitch them up or you can darn them. I have a video on my channel that shows you how to darn socks, and so you can use the same technique if your top has a hole in it. Now, the last thing that I like to do whenever I flip anything or get things from op shops or secondhand is to use the lint remover to sort of take off any of those little peeling balls of fiber that happen. I'm really getting to the end of all this talking business anyway. You know what I mean? It removes the lint. It removes the lint balls from the surface of the fabric, and it makes the fabric have a much nicer finish, look more expensive, and yes. Once I did that, my flip was complete.
So I was really happy with how this top turned out, even though the buttons are not functional, so they do not open because I stuffed up that whole snap button process. I had a few left over and I did not want to go out and buy more because I rarely use them. So it all turned out in the end. You can't tell except for the fact that I cannot unbutton them. I would love to see if you had a go at this project. So tag me on Instagram at Slew Living, that's slow with an E, or comment below. Maybe if you had any problems, I will try and help you out. This is part of a, like 8-part video series that I'm doing for a bunch of knits that I thrifted from Savers Superstore. So they're all secondhand. I bought them with the intention of changing them up, altering them, giving them a new life, and showing you how you can do the same. So head over to my channel if you enjoy these types of thrift flip videos, and also if you like sustainable fashion, secondhand fashion, and learning about that kind of stuff, because that's what I love to share. I will see you again soon.